Okay, so I bought the Steam machine. I have it here now. I know everybody's really excited to get one of these, and I know they're really expensive, and I think like a buddy of mine has always played Xbox, and he's really excited about the Steam machine, and I just want to... Today's video is all about just like plugging it in and starting it up and getting into a game. I think there might be a lot of misconceptions and probably mismarketing saying that it's just a console you plug in and start playing your games. At the end of the day, this is a PC that's running Linux that has a nice console-like operating system sitting on top of it. So my thing is to test like what is it like to unbox this. Literally, I'm going to plug it in on camera, show you all like what the startup menus look like, and probably try to download 007 First Light since it's sort of a newer game that's a little bit, you know, heavy on graphics, and see how it runs. You know, see if, without messing with any settings or anything like that, just see if I can get into a newer AAA title. Without further ado, we're gonna plug it in and see how this works. Okay, so we're plugged in. Hitting the on button here. It says device connected to HDMI 2, but I'm not really seeing any changes to the TV. So it didn't automatically switch over. Let's go input, input, still labeled Apple TV. All right, fun little startup sound. All right. Right off the bat, it's telling me to either plug in a mouse and keyboard or set up the controller. I did get the 512 unit that came with the controller, 512 gigabyte. With the controller, let's see. It's trying to pair. I wonder, let's go ahead and use the little puck here. It's showing, as you can see, I mean, you can see it's saying either keyboard, mouse, the controller. It looks like sitting on this little thing to start. Do I need to put it on the back here? Let's see. All right, so it's on the little puck. All right, cool. So that seems to have worked. I wonder if I can unplug. Are we still paired? Yes, so I can let go of the plug situation there, the charger. All right, we're English. I'm in not Eastern time, India. Where am I? We're like plus, I feel like I'm not in the right place. Eastern time, there we go. All right, let's go ahead and get connected to the internet. I'm just using the controller for all of this. Ooh, so you can use the little trackpad here sort of as a mouse of sorts. I'm not vibing with that. All right, connecting to the internet. It's pretty standard. All right, SteamOS. Updating. Now we wait. So this is a 4K TCL TV. I've seen from a lot of other videos out there that 1440p is kind of a sweet spot for a lot of the AAA games. They just don't run well on 4K. And in fact, I built my own PC around the Steam Deck specs-ish. I watched another video and just built it. I'll link that here if you want to watch how I did that. But I know that 007 New Light had trouble running 4K. So I switched that down to 1440p, and honestly, I didn't even notice a difference in quality, but just something to know. I think the cool thing about SteamOS is they've done a good job of like going game by game-ish a little bit and saying like these are the settings that are gonna work best to try and make it very console-like. Like it will set the settings of the game to match what's best for the console here. I do really like, while we're waiting, I do really like that light bar. I think that's really cool. I've seen other people talking about how it acts as a loading bar too when things are loading, like when you're downloading a game, which is cool. I do want to talk about the Steam controller. This is the first time I've had one of these as well. It feels so Steam Decky. That makes sense. It comes from the same company, but it feels so much like the Steam Deck. It's kind of wild, like the plastic feel, everything, even the weight of it feels like Steam Deck. And I've never really ever programmed back buttons on controllers. These feel incredible though, and it kind of makes me want to figure out a good layout for those. I never really used the touchpads on the Steam Deck when I had it. Maybe I'll get into that a bit more with this, but there is a good amount of that interesting, sorry if you hear that, that haptic feedback when you're rolling your thumb around is so strange. The buttons feel really nice, and I think I'm definitely it just feels good. I would say the triggers feel a little cheap, almost maybe. I'm not a huge fan of those triggers, but I think they're gonna hold out. They just, you know, comparing this to the Xbox controller with the, I don't know, they just feel a bit more solid. It's not crazy, and you know what? Maybe it's not even like a cheaper feeling. It's just a different feeling for sure. So anyway, I'm so excited for this, and this controller feels amazing. All right, here we go. Looks like it updated. I like the logo playing off the other products. Alright, looks like it's restarting. 4K, 60 Hertz. That's the TV. I like when I pushed the Steam button here, the controller woke up and it was like a solid vibration there. That was nice. Oh, here we go. Alright. Select pair below to connect your Steam controller directly to your Steam machine. Well, I want to do that. Alright. Well, there we go. Okay, cool. So, if you don't have the Steam machine, you use the puck to connect this controller to a PC. And it basically, this connects to the puck, which is then plugged into the PC. But because of this and what I just did, now this is paired to the Steam machine and I don't actually have to use the puck anymore, which is cool. Okay, now it's updating the firmware for the puck, which that looks a little messed up. I feel like it's turned 90 degrees. Oh, it finally has the time right now. All right, updating the Steam machine and Turtle Steam controller adapter firmware. That was so wordy. I love the overall design of the Steam machine. There's the front of it. I will say, I know that there's like functionally certain things you have to do, but Steam controller update required. Please plug it in via USB so you can use the cable. All right, lots of setup. That's to be expected though, for sure. All right, I plugged it in. It's showing red on the controller. It says it's updating. I will say I wish the USB-A ports and the micro SD slot were like closer together and pushed over to the left side of the design. Oh, here we go. All right, looks like we're updated. Adjust the slider till the arrows touch the edge of the screen. We look good there. Select your audio configuration. I'll do 5.1 because that's the one that we have set up here. I don't currently have it set up that way, but that's fine. All right, and here we go. We're gonna sign into Steam. If you're brand new to Steam, you have to obviously create an account here, which I don't have to do. What's really cool about Steam is I have Steam on my phone. So I literally just open it up. This is for like newbies out there. There's a little guy like this. There you go. Sign into Steam. Scan the QR code. Steam controller detected. Okay. Welcome to the Steam machine. Press any button to continue. Before you start playing, here are a couple helpful tips. Press Shift plus Tab to access your library. Well, I'm not on a mouse and keyboard. Press and hold to view system shortcuts. Control Shift Tab. You see, this is kind of what I mean. Like, it's talking in terms of a computer and we're using a controller. So there's still going to be a lot of that you might not be like ready for. It's not a huge deal, but there is a micro SD card slot, which is really nice actually. I love that. You could switch it back and forth between your Steam machine and your Steam Deck, I'm pretty sure. Parental controls, have fun. Cool. Alright. If you have any other Steam controllers, I don't. Alright. Okay. Here we are. I'm signed in. It looks really nice. Pretty simple. This is basically SteamOS. And as you can see, it very much mirrors. Alright, so it's saying I need to update basically the Steam store? OS? Something? Firmware updates. I'm going to say not now. What I'm going to do is I'm going to come, let's see, if I hit the Steam button, come down to the library, I'm going to go ahead and install First Light. I could also play it remotely. So I named my PC Steam machine, which is why that's a little confusing, but I could just stream this game from that PC, which is super cool. You have to go into settings and set that as an option, but I'm going to go ahead and install. We're going to accept. You can come up here to the little install in the top right, and it's going to show you how long this is going to take. It's probably going to take a while. While we're waiting on that and while it is downloading. Okay, so here's the thing. As you can see in the top left, it says great on machine. So these games are kind of vetted to say, and you can see like Shadow of Mordor I have right there. You have the little green check, and then next to it's the Steam Machine logo, which is the square with the circle in it. So all of these games have sort of been vetted, I guess, by Steam to say that they play well here. You can see I actually have 163 games. And like this one, for instance, let's click through and look at the game info because it has a little, all right, Steam Machine Compatibility. You can see that playable details. Steam Machine Compatibility. Valve's testing indicates this title is playable on Steam Machine. The game is functional on Steam Machine, but might require extra effort to interact with or configure. This is kind of what I mean. This isn't something you run into with PlayStation or Xbox. Sometimes shows a mouse, keyboard, or non-Steam controller icons. These are the things you're going to run into with Steam Machine that you wouldn't on a console. Now, I feel like Steam is probably working very hard to minimize this. working with other developers. This is Ubisoft, right? Yeah, Ubisoft. If I click Steam here and I go to power, I can actually go switch to desktop in the settings, which that would actually take me to a Windows looking desktop like you would have on your Windows computer, but it's Linux. And there are certain things you can do there and actually enter into the PC side of this console, which is something that your console can't do. So I guess you could look at that as a plus or a minus. I think in some ways it hinders hopping right into a game and playing your favorite title, which might be Assassin's Creed, or let's see, some of these might even have like non-playable. Okay, so like, here we go, Battlefield. It has an actual X through it. So let's come over to game info. It says unsupported. Valve's testing indicates this title is unsupported on Steam Machine. Some or all of its game are currently or doesn't work on the Steam Machine. So if you wanted to play Battlefield 6, you can't. If you wanted to play World War II online, you can't. And there are going to be other games like that too. Yeah, all the Battlefield games I feel like don't work on SteamOS. So if you ever owned a Steam Deck, you probably know these things, but if you're hopping into this thinking, man, I'd love a Steam machine and I'm going to throw away all my other consoles and my favorite game is Battlefield. Yikes. So just be aware of that as you're looking into this stuff. And I would hope that Call of Duty is another one, right? So I would hope that over time that gets fixed, but right now, currently, and for quite a while now, like I have trouble playing them on my PC too. Again, it takes like another launcher and things like that. You have to jump through hoops. So it's possible if you launch into Steam through the Linux side of things, you could play those games, but to the average person who just wants to sit down and play a game, that's just going to be a hard pill to swallow and probably not a good experience. So just be aware that you might have bought a ton of games in the past. Star Wars Battlefront 2, it's saying that's not playable on here. So just be aware of that. But anyway, Grand Theft Auto doesn't seem to be available on here, which that's a little frustrating for a lot of people, I know. While we're chilling here, I'm going to go over to the store, which here's the thing about Steam. So many games on sale, so many sales all the time. And so you can find like amazing games for like $1 or like 99 cents or half off AAA titles. So that's sort of the most enticing thing about Steam. I wanted to see if we could find like, let's click this Pandora and let's see if it tells us. Here we go. All right, so when you're looking at a game in the store, you can come over here, Steam Machine Compatibility. It says unknown. We can click learn more. Valve's still learning about this title. We don't know. We don't currently have further information regarding Steam Machine compatibility. So it doesn't even know if it can run. So like you see, this is 40% off. It'd be nice to go and get this game, right? It's only 18 bucks, but I don't know if I'm able to play it on the Steam Machine. So anytime before you buy a game, I would come in here and check to see. And I think this will deter a lot of people from buying a Steam Machine because you don't know compatibility. I think maybe something you could do is just go to the Steam store in your browser on Chrome before buying a Steam Machine and look up some of your favorite games or some of the games that you're most excited about and see in that section, is it compatible with Steam Machine? And it will tell you there too. It'll tell you if it's compatible with Steam Deck as well. But check there first. If 5 out of 10 games that you want to play aren't available on Steam Machine, then maybe Steam Machine's not the route for you right now. So just something to be aware of. And Steam Machine's all about playing games in a console-like setting. So playing games or not being able to play games is just going to be the big deciding factor for you, I think, when it comes to purchasing this, especially at the price point. Way overpriced. There's really nothing they can do about that, but it is what it is. Now, of course, if you're someone who loves tinkering and tampering, Steam Machine's awesome. Like getting into Linux and figuring that out and maybe downloading different installers and whatnot and ProtonDB and those things, like it's exciting. But as I've said like 80 times already, if you're just looking for the console-like experience, it's hit or miss. I'm not saying it's not console-like, and we'll find out here in a minute how easy it is to, from start, get into a game. But hit or miss whether your favorite games are going to work or not. It's kind of like buying the Xbox game, not knowing it's an Xbox game and trying to put it in your PlayStation and it doesn't work. We've got some fast internet here. We've got 790 megabits per second. What's cool though is, say you do have a beast of a PC and you load up the game on your PC, you can stream it from the Steam Machine from your PC. So that's always an option if it doesn't work on Steam Machine. But again, I think if you're the person that's built your own PC, I don't know if you want a Steam Machine. It's really just up to you, but I would think if you've built a PC, it's probably better than the Steam Machine. and more capable. And I don't know if you'd want to buy this for that reason, but all right, here we go. First light. All right, let's come over here. Let's hit our Steam button, go to our library. It's downloaded, play. All right, so we log into the Steam machine. We pull up first light. It said max settings 1080p. I don't know if you saw that. I'll have to come in here and see. I'm interested just to see like the startup experience and what it's like booting into a game. It does look like it might be in 1080p right now. I mean, it looks great. Preloading the shaders. Game's all loaded. Let's press play, A. I do want to come into the settings before I start and look at like the default, what it's set us at. Continue. This game was fantastic, by the way. Okay, let's come down to options and let's look at the settings that Steam has automatically set for us. Full screen resolution, default value 1920 by 1080p. That's interesting that that's the default. Now, this is where I know consoles have gotten a lot more of these settings over time, but Steam and PCs have a lot more settings. So like VSync, I've found that to actually be a great setting to put on my PC. Screen tearing is what it's fixing here, and I don't really need to go into all these details, but sometimes when you're panning, like pixels will like, or like the top half of the screen and the bottom half of the screen will like tear. It's called tearing, like they don't align. You have this like weird offset, like when fast motion is happening, this prevents that from happening. So HDR, okay. Resolution scaling, you can upscale, texture quality. Yeah, how do we look on all this stuff? Set to low, texture filler, 4 times, low level of detail, low, shadow quality low. So basically low settings on all this. And I think what's cool about a PC is you can see in the bottom right there, it says VRAM. And it's basically showing like, this is what your computer, your Steam machine in this setting can take. So let's like boost up this to ultra. You can see as I go up on some of these settings that VRAM starts to go up and up and up, and at some point it actually turns red. I'm trying to just pump all these up so you can see. There you go. Okay, so texture quality was a big one and it jumped, and it says we suggest reducing your graphics quality settings. You can at any time restore to defaults, and then it puts it back. You can see it's low, everything like that. Motion blurs on, all those things. Film grain effects. All right, reduce light effects. Now what I want to do now is come up here, and if I change it to 4K, what's that going to be like? Let's come down. I don't even have the option. So this is the thing. If I click the Steam button, settings, display, okay, maximum game resolution out of the box is set to 1920 by 1080. Now I'm gonna go up to native. So as you can see, wow, okay, even just the menu got so much more clear. But you can see across the board now, maximum is 3840 by 2160, and then you can go game by game as well and change those settings, whichever is best for yours. So let's see if it's given me the option now. It still hasn't. Yeah, I might have to like come out of the game and come back in to see how that would work. But you know what? I said I was just gonna pop into a game. Let's just see how this looks. Wait, load game, there we go. I don't know how this is gonna work, if I can like select a mission or something. Well, let's watch the cutscene. So again, this is 1080p at low settings, it seems. It looks okay.
Web was a national treasure, nothing less would do.
1080p looks okay.
It doesn't feel right, does it?
I'm pretty sure that's the end of the game, so yeah, we're not even gonna get any. Okay, all right, what I wanna do is, I'm gonna go ahead and come back out, exit game. I'm gonna just try to boot back into it and see if it's given us the option now to go full resolution for the TV. And I don't know, it might put this in full resolution like automatically now that we've set the Steam machine's full resolution to 4K. Can't really tell, and I think that's the difference between 1080 and 4K when gaming, especially on a TV with the screen far away from me, is harder to tell than you would think. So let's go ahead, well, let's come back, options, here we go. Yep, 3840 by 2160. Did you see the VRAM go up? So it's gonna be, we're still at low settings, but 4K. Let's see if that helps us out. Let's see what that does for us. I wanna watch that same cutscene, and then we're actually gonna go into like some gameplay and see how that looks. Now keep in mind, we're still at low settings, so this might all look the exact same. You can see it's a bit more jittery now though.
Service was beautiful, particularly enjoyed the bagpipes and rifle.
Yes. web was a national.
All right, so there wasn't much difference there. Exit to menu. Let's get in and try to do some gameplay here. Okay, yeah, it's not super smooth. I don't have frame rates or anything like that, but you can just kind of tell. Now, I want to show you guys what happens. Like if I come in here and I go to options, graphics, and let's have some fun with this. Okay, so let's go texture quality, ultra, texture filter, terrain quality, ultra, shadow quality, ultra, fog. I'm just gonna put everything on ultra settings so you can see this, because like you would want to play every game with as high quality as possible, right? Like that's the goal here. And I know like with PlayStation and maybe Xbox, I don't know a ton about console gaming at this point in my life, but I know that you can choose between like really high quality and really high performance a lot of times. And so this is sort of doing that, but way more granular, right? All right, so let's do that, and now let's see how it runs. Yeah, it's just like these, and I'm in like a loading area of the game, but you can just see it's, I don't know how many frames this is, maybe like 20 or something, maybe a little bit more. But it just feels jumpy and not smooth, and honestly, I'm a little surprised, but even like zooming in and stuff, it feels a little slow. I want to see if I can just give me something. We're gonna happen to a game yet. So yeah, while this is loading, I think if you just want to get into a game and you want to play it, you can. Mission failed. Great. I didn't do what I was supposed to do. If you just want to get into a game, you can. It's going to be at 1080p. It's going to be in low settings, it seems. Like, it's going to choose what's best for the Steam machine. You can get in and be more granular. I'm sure more and more forums and things will pop up with people saying these are the perfect settings for the highest quality for 007 First Light without ruining your Steam machine, right? Like with a still, you know, high refresh rate, high frame rate. These are the settings that work. Now, what I'm going to do now is I'm going to go into settings again, and I'm going to change them back to defaults and see how this looks and feels. See if it's a little bit quicker. Now again, my 4K TV is 60 hertz, so we're not going to be getting 120 frames per second or anything like that. But it should still run smoothly at 60, right? So I'm excited to get into the settings, restore to defaults, and I think this is what's to be expected. All right, this is what it's like kind of feeling like. And I also don't know how well like the camera's picking up on all of like the jitteriness and stuff. Options, graphics, restore to defaults. All right, how we feeling now? Feels a little better, okay? Still feels a little
Something to remember.
not super smooth. And I don't really know why that is. It could be like the film grain or something, but anyway, you get the picture. That's the thing. Here's the Steam machine. You're able to play around with it more than maybe you would a console with the settings and stuff, because it's a computer. It's not a console. It's a PC running Linux. But that's how it works. And you can load a lot of games on here. You can play a lot of games, especially if you've had a Steam account and you want something more console-y that sits in the living room that has a nice form factor to it. We're all about form and function on the channel, as you know. So I love the design. I love the design language. I love everything Steam's trying to do in the product, like physical product design console world. There's just limitations here. And it's funny because I think they've built something that's good for this level of consoles, like PlayStation 5, Xbox One, or wherever we are with Xbox nowadays. But as those consoles continue to push and create new consoles, I think quality-wise, this is quickly going to fall behind, just because there's only so much you can do with that small form factor. I mean, this is basically a teeny PC, and the smaller a PC gets, the more expensive the parts are for it. So they're battling that. I think they've brought a lot to something so small that's not gigantic and basically is a coffee table that you put your games into. So I'm really excited about this. I'm interested to hear your thoughts. Maybe you love PC and tinkering and stuff, and this is fun for you for a different reason, but it definitely fits an interesting niche audience between like people who have a lot of money and don't want to tinker, but sometimes it takes tinkering in order for it to work. So it feels like a very niche audience. I think a lot of people assumed here's the next PlayStation or Xbox, but I don't think it's in the same category. I think in some ways it is, and I think maybe at some point in time, maybe someday, it gets to be in the same category as Xbox and PlayStation in the console realm. But at the end of the day, I've said it a billion times, it's still a PC running Linux with a console-like experience sitting on top of that. So just wanted to share what the experience was like, getting it, booting it up, running into a game, playing around with the settings a little bit, and yeah, that's going to do it for this video. I know this video is very long. Thanks so much for sticking around if you've made it this far. I'm interested to hear your thoughts in the comments down below. On this channel, we talk about tech and products that marry form and function. We like products that improve our lives and look good while doing so. If that sounds cool to you, please consider subscribing. Like this video for more. Let me know if you want like a later on review after I've sat with this for a week or two, and I'd be happy to make that video for you guys. Thanks so much. Like this video if you would. Hype it up if you would. Watch that video next. You're going to love it, and we'll see you all in the next one.